What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and we're back for another episode of the fighting game tutorial series. In today's episode we are going to continue going over Rollback Netcode in our fighting game. In the previous few episodes of Rollback Netcode, we were going over how we can set up our snapshots or our character state data, and how we can make sure that our frames happen at a given rate, a fixed tick for determinism. What we need to do at this point is take our game, take the character state info that we saved out in the previous episode of Rollback, and save these snapshots and load these snapshots. And saving and loading doesn't mean like saving to a file or a save slot or loading them from a file or save slot. It really just means adding them to some sort of array or a circular buffer like we do with our inputs so that we can track a given number of frames. This is important because we will have a number of rollback frames that we can go back to, and we want to store them. So say we want to go back 3 frames, then we can do that. We can go 3 frames back and see the data that was stored at that snapshot. But because this is such a massive amount of data, that's why we want to use our circular buffer. Like with our inputs, we were storing and checking so much data so frequently that we don't want to store all that. But as long as we store it for a given period of time, that will be sufficient, and we will only use a certain amount of data that we've basically calculated beforehand by setting a maximum number of rollback frames. It is actually quite simple, but we definitely want to make sure that we have this in and working and it's right before going further, because if we don't save and load this data, then we won't be able to actually roll back at any point. That's what we'll be going over today. So if you're interested in getting caught up in the entire series before hopping into this episode, you can see how we've done our hitboxes and hurtboxes, our practice mode, our input stack, and a whole lot more. Alternatively, if you don't care about that and you only care about the Rollback Netcode portion of this tutorial series, that's fine. You don't have to watch the whole series to follow along with this, but there are a lot of things that we're going to be touching in this Rollback Netcode portion, and so at the very least I recommend that you check out the previous episodes of the Rollback Netcode so that you can be familiar with everything else that we've done to support Rollback, and you'll be able to follow along with what we do in today's episode for Rollback. With that said, we can go ahead and get started. This is a code and blueprint tutorial series, but since we're working on the rollback portion of our game, it's basically just going to be all C++ and all code. That means we should go to our IDE of choice, which in my case is Visual Studio, and we want to go to our class that we made for rollback, which I called the Rollback Simulation Subsystem. Now everything that we have in here is logic and content from other episodes on rollback. We want to go down to our functions for today, and we want to make 2 functions, a save snapshot and load snapshot, or we can call them store snapshot and retrieve snapshot. Doing research for this, people typically seem to call it save and load online, but I like the idea of storing and retrieving because we're not saving it out. Every time I say save and load, I think saving it out to a file. If we go to our private section here, we can go under our fixed tick and we can add a function void store snapshot and void retrieve snapshot. Let's add comments for these as well. Store a snapshot into the circular buffer of rollback frames. Retrieve a snapshot from the circular buffer of rollback frames. Now we don't have a circular buffer yet, so another thing that we need to make is our circular buffer. This can also be in the private section here. The circular buffer of rollback frames. And maybe I'll say available rollback frames here, because this is not going to store all of our rollback frames, just the frames that we've allowed it to, right? These certain number of frames that have just passed that are still relevant. And this can be a T array or a fixed size array, or it can be a circular buffer. If we go to our fighter template character, there is an actual type called circular buffer that we have right here. It's a T circular buffer, and it takes in the type. This is an Unreal type. T array is too, but of course regular arrays exist in C++. And really either way will work here. Circular buffer just has a little bit of extra functionality built in to just support the circular buffer behavior by default. You'll notice that T circular buffers are not supported in blueprints. They're not supported as U properties, whereas our old system was. So I made the change to convert this to code because we didn't need it in blueprint. But I left this comment here just to show that. So just be aware of that. If you want to use a T circular buffer, you will have to include container circular buffer.h. I think because we made our input buffer an actual T-circular buffer, we can do the same here. The really good thing about this is that it's very easy to change that to a regular array or a fixed T array. If there's too much overhead using a T-circular buffer, then we can just swap it, but I try to stay with Unreal type specifically when I can instead of going to a regular fixed array. So we include containers / circular buffer.h. Be good here. I'm going to put it in alphabetical order in this section. And now we have access to the T-circular buffer type. So we can come down here, type T-circular buffer. And for our data type within this buffer, we are going to use our structure, our F character snapshot. This stores all of our character info that we may want to roll back to. So F character snapshot. And we can call this rollback frame buffer. We also set the number of frames that we're going to support in our character file in the header right here. We can do the same thing in here, but you don't actually have to do it right here if you don't want to. To be consistent, I think it's perfectly fine to do this. So we can also set rollback frames buffer or rollback frame buffer to T circular buffer F character snapshot. In parentheses, we tell the circular buffer how many store. Now we can choose an arbitrary value like 10. And that will be sufficient for now. Again, same with how we did our input buffer. But we probably should define this somewhere so that we can easily just update a variable. And this will update could be useful for a few different reasons. Right now, the number doesn't really matter, but you should know in general how many frames you want to support. 10 is an arbitrary number that I am picking based off of what I think will be valid, but you could need more or less. If you have less, you're going to be storing less data, make it easier to go through it, but you only store a couple of frames, so the connection will typically have to be better for this to be very smooth. If you store more frames, you're storing more data, which could slow it down a little bit, but you're storing more data, so if the connection is worse, you can still have rollback work in case of larger delay. Now at this point, we basically have what we need to store and retrieve snapshots, but we should have some way to know which value we're storing, which value we're retrieving. So when we call store snapshot, we're not just expecting it to know what that really means. We should probably pass in the frame number so that it knows what index to save this data to. But absolutely for retrieving the snapshot, we need to do this because we won't know which one to retrieve unless we've chosen a frame where we want to roll back to. Now, frames can be stored as integers, but they can become very large numbers as time goes on. So Unreal will typically store them as int64s, and you'll see that we've done this throughout our character class. We look for int64. Int64 just means integer 64-bit, and it stores more data than a regular integer. Again, referencing our input buffer, what we actually did for that was use a regular integer and reset the value manually. So we would go from 0 to 59, representing 60 frames. We would get the current number from the engine, the current number of the frame, but then convert that to that 0 to 59 ratio. Then we only needed to use regular integers. So however you want to set this up is fine. We can actually start by just using a regular integer. Store snapshot int frame number. Or just frame is probably fine. And same for retrieve snapshot, int frame. Now if we go to the rollback simulation subsystem.cpp and add our functions void u rollback simulation subsystem : store snapshot, and it takes an int frame. And we want to make void u rollback simulation subsystem : retrieve snapshot. And it's also going to take in an integer called frame. Now it's going to be more complex than this, but the basic example, really all that we have to do here is use our rollback frame buffer at the frame index and set it to our current character snapshot info. Now we don't have our current character snapshot info. We made the structure for it. It's all this stuff right here. But we never actually filled these values out. We just made the structure. We still need to pass all the data to it. So we're not going to do that for today's episode. I believe that warrants an episode of its own, but just realize that's what we're going to be doing here. We're setting it to the current character snapshot. And as filler for now, what we can do is just make a new default type for this. So equals F character snapshot, parentheses. This isn't really going to store anything. It's going to store all the default values that we set up in the default constructor, but that will work for now. Then for retrieving the snapshot, what we're really going to do is set an F character snapshot. Again, this would be our current character snapshot to the values provided in the character snapshot data in the rollback frame buffer at that frame. Current character snapshot equals rollback frame buffer at frame index. So we're just taking all the data that's here and putting it into the snapshot, but we shouldn't be making a snapshot here. We should have one. So although we haven't sent our snapshot data to this subsystem yet, we actually can pretty much finish these functions for what we have right now by simply making a variable that stores the current snapshot data for this frame. To do this, we can make F character snapshot current character snapshot. This is the data for this frame that we're working on, and it's only going to be valid for this frame. We're not storing it like we are in the rollback frames buffer to reference later. This is just the current data that we have. When we're storing snapshot data, we are saving out the data that's been in here to this circular buffer. When we are retrieving snapshot data, we are loading data from the rollback frame buffer into this current character snapshot variable. The frame data for the current frame. This is going to be more than just one variable because we are going to need to track all of our characters, so this will likely be an array of characters. But for today's episode, if we simply replace the F character snapshot that we were creating in store snapshot with our current character snapshot, and if instead of making a new one in the retrieve snapshot function, we just set the variable equal to this one, we've essentially done the point of these functions. In store snapshot now, we are setting the value in the rollback frame buffer based on the passed in frame to our current data. In retrieve snapshot, we are retrieving the data from the rollback frame buffer at the passed in frame and setting our current data to it. Now there is one note I want to make here, even though we're not far enough ahead for this yet. This probably isn't just going to be our character snapshot. We made our circular buffer this F character snapshot type, and we made our variable this F character snapshot type. In reality, we may have other things that we want to include in this frame, like the frame number itself, or data about hitboxes, or data about something else that's not really included here. So keep in mind that this may expand. This is solid. Now what we'll want to do is make sure that before we update the frame number, we save the data out. Now we don't have a variable for the frame number right now, but we should, very similarly to our fighter template character, having the cur_tick variable, cur_tick, which we use for tracking things in the input buffer, as well as a few other things as this comment says. And again, if we do it this way, the same way we were doing it with our input buffer, it can be a standard integer. It does not have to represent the actual frame, but rather just the relative frame that we're at. So it doesn't have to be frame 1,300,000. It could just be frame 40. Or in the case of our rollback frame buffer, we only really care about 10 frames right now. So it could be frame 8 in this 10 frame window. Regardless of how we want to set this up, let's make sure that we have an integer that tracks the current frame. The current frame represented as 0 to max rollback frames minus 1. So if our max rollback frames are 10 in this case, we go from 0 to 9. That is 10 indices. I think that makes sense, but if it doesn't, it will. We should also default this in initialize current frame equals 0. We'll just start it out at 0. And then every time we perform fixed tick, we need to increment current frame. So we already have our fixed tick going here. We can do ++ current frame to add to it. But before we increment the current frame, we need to store the snapshot of the current data. Otherwise, we will be one frame offset. So we should actually call store snapshot in here, passing in current frame. If you want, you could call ++ current frame in store snapshot, but I'd like to keep them separate because these are very distinct operations that we're going to be doing. So store the current frame snapshot before incrementing the frame. Then increment the frame. We won't call retrieve snapshot yet because you would only do this when you're rolling back. We don't have logic to actually perform a rollback yet. We're just setting it up now. Now, the last thing we want to do for today's episode is just make sure that our current frame doesn't go out of bounds of the fixed array or the circular buffer. And to do that, we can simply check what the current frame number is. If it is less than our maximum value, which remember we're going from 0 to 9 because there are 10 indices. So if it's less than 9, we just simply increment the frame. If it's greater than or equal to 9, then we roll the frame counter over, which means we set it back to the default, which is 0. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on Rollback Netcode and preparing to store states or snapshots and retrieve states and snapshots. If you did and you're looking forward to learning more, then please subscribe. It does more for myself and the channel than anything else you can do, and I really appreciate it. I also want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube membership, Patreon members, and Discord supporters. You guys are so fantastic. Thank you for continuing to support me. I really appreciate all of you. If you ran into any problems setting up Rollback Netcode or the rollback simulation subsystem in your game, feel free to reach out in the comments or the Discord community. I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Shawnthebro, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.